Hello, extremely. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully well today. You doing okay?
Yeah,
What time? What time is it there anyway?
2111.
21:11. So 9 o'clock at night by my standards of time. Okay, cool. It is noonish here in Austin, Texas. So it's a rainy, gray, but not too terribly cold. It never gets too cold here. So happy to be here.
Thank you very much for your time.
I don't get many calls, many requests anymore since I retired from the game business so many years ago. So somebody really has to be diligent in their research to track me down, and I'm delighted. I was delighted to get a message from you the other day.
Today we're gonna talk about the RTS-like game. This means war.
This
From
means war.
1995.
It was one of the absolute last games I ever worked on as a producer. I had worked at Microprose just before starting this game and decided that I wanted to move back from Baltimore back to the city that I really loved, which was Austin. So I started up my own little development group and worked on this on a contract basis as an independent developer for Microprose.
So when it was released?
It was released in 95, I believe. Early 1995. Let me think. When I got to Austin, moved to Austin in early 1994. And at that point in time, I was married. I had two young children, one that was 4, one that was 2, and my wife was 8 months pregnant. So we came to Austin, and our third child was born right about the same time that we started work on This Means War.
The game doesn't have precise release date anywhere I look. The files on the disk are dated to 11th month.
I think it was toward that. Come to think of it, toward the end of 1995 that it came out.
And the first magazine reviews are from 1996. It reached Commonwealth of Independent States in about April. I found one review from local magazines. So by 1995, people who review the game today love to compare it to some imaginary golden age of RTS games or something. But the golden age, if it ever was, started in about 1997, not even 1996. So comparing this game to 1997 is not exactly fair.
No, it was one of the very first ones to do what we did. And I think at the time we were developing, the only game similar was Dune 2.
Dune 2 was 1992, 1993.
Yeah.
Dune 2 for Sega, which can be considered a port or a new game because we changed everything. Then we get the first clone is first Warcraft, Blizzard clone Dune 2.
Yep.
They even forgot to change the font, at least according to Wikipedia. So, in 1995, we get the first sequel to Dune 2 Command & Conquer in...
Yeah, right. Oh, Command & Conquer came out, yes.
Late September.
And it was about 10 times the budget that we had for Command & Conquer. They did an amazing job with that back then.
1995. In March, there was Danger Zone, Chinese clone of Dune 2. Then Czech clone of Dune 2, Paranoia, 1995, September. Yes. Maybe it was before Command & Conquer, but maybe not.
I don't remember that game at all, but yeah.
It is kind of obscure. So Danger Zone and Paranoia still use more or less Dune 2 interface and controls with menus. Warcraft 2 came out much later than CNC, so this means War is more Dune 2 clone than of older RTS games.
Yeah, at the time we were doing the development, I think the only game that we could look at as having any kind of similar background was Dune 2. None of the others come out, at least not until we were nearly done.
First Warcraft was already out. Command & Conquer got really popular in the West, meanwhile Warcraft 2 got really popular in the East. They cloned Warcraft 2 as a War Diary, and that game became the foundation of all Asian RTS games until StarCraft. They have peasants who tile fields to get food, and that food mechanic is used everywhere in Asian games, in Korea, in Chinese, Taiwan, Hong Kong games. So what was the main inspiration for This Means War?
I think Dune 2 is probably the only one that I would call a specific inspiration for it. But I was when I was working at Microprose, we had a group of game designers who were all long time old school board game war gamers. I mean, we were talking about people who'd worked for Avalon Hill in the 70s and 80s and such. So, we knew that the fun of a good war game was a little intimidating and restricted to people who could be very serious and hardcore gamers, and we wanted to try to make it more accessible and a little bit lighter and a little bit easier to get into than a lot of the war games that we had played on tabletop. And I think when we saw the approach that they took with Dune 2, we kind of said, "Oh, that's really nice and fun and easy to get into, but it's only a game for people who've actually read Dune, or maybe some of those people who saw the 1980. What year was the original movie back in the 80s? 1984. The one that David Lynch directed. Did you ever see the Dune movie from back then?
Dune 2 was the first time I encountered Dune at all.
So you were one of the people who played the game not knowing what the book was about or not knowing anything about the setting.
That's many people, because Soviet Union fell in 91. All communists tried to kick out Gorbachev and return to olden times without perestroika and freedom of speech. So under that noise, Yeltsin managed to kick out the communists and Gorbachev himself too. So that's the official date when Soviet.
No, I remember the news back then, and of course back at the time that the Soviet Union was falling, we had Reagan and Bush taking so much credit for having masterminded how to manipulate everything going on in the Soviet Union to make that happen.
The actual mastermind was Yeltsin. He started very low and worked every step until he became president of Russia. Russia is part of Soviet Union. And then he just used the situation to take power. Everything from the West started to pour in. All the culture, music, movies. We only had our allies. India, France, Italian movies, and not very many.
But not much American culture.
In 1991, all the games, everything starts pouring, so it's not like linear progression, but we have everything what was done before. Simpsons, at the same time with old black and white movies.
Oh my, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And since it's all old, it's cheap to purchase under the new capitalism system. So we have TV channels, buy everything we could. All TV shows, new movies, everything. So Dune 2 came and it's decently popular. People play it and share. I watched the movie only when I got internet, so it's 2006. So I got Dune 2, then I watched TV show that was on TV soon after the original release. And only then I watched the Dune movie. I went from the game into the books. Books came the last when my dad gifted me for my birthday. So mainly you try to follow Dune 2 and nothing else, and in general, war game.
I can't really think much of many other specific games that were an influence on our design back then. So, I mean, we had a good group of very experienced developers in terms of our art team, in terms of our programmers and so on. So I think we all at the back of our minds just pull little bits and pieces from the huge catalogs of games that we had played in the past. But the only one that I could really point to as a direct inspiration for this would have been Dune 2 at the time.
People compare it to typical later RTS games, but it reminded me of Die Siedler, the German village builder game that was popular.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that one.
Ubisoft bought it and it became The Settlers. Giant series, we even made new one recently. But the soldiers moving very similar, tiny sprites, pacing.
I mean, there is something to be said about the general strategy game genre that we were swimming in at the time, because I worked at Microprose. I worked with people who had developed Civilization. I worked with the developers for Master of Orion. And so even though those were turn-based, they were not real-time games. I think those were still influences as well on what we were doing.
Dune 2
Yeah.
itself started as spiritual sequel to Crescent Half 2, which is real-time tactics, and Crescent Half 2 is a sequel to Crescent Half 1, which is turn-based tactics, and they listed as inspirations same civilization, same war games of all times, and most RTS games got inspired by Mac OS for controls. So the previous games are entirely DOS games, and when this means war doesn't really work with DOSBox, it requires very specific install of Windows 3.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I think one of the things that was difficult for us was that we were probably needing faster processors than most people had at the time. And I think the performance of the game was not as satisfactory on many people's slower processors back then. And I don't remember exactly which version of the operating systems we were operating under at the time, but there were some compatibility issues back then.
It's very
But it was
integrated in Windows 3 because it uses systems interfaces, system fonts. I couldn't find pre-installed Windows 3 DOSBox setup, so the only one I found was in Russian. And I opened the game, and half of the menu is in Russian because it's directly latched on into Windows 3.
interesting.
The game just uses Windows 3 as its basis.
Okay.
Most of the games before it are purely DOS. Warcraft,
Yeah.
is DOS, Dune 2, of course, DOS. We work from DOSBox, but these games requires Windows 3 because it uses its, I don't know, some before DirectX libraries or something and integrates it.
Yeah.
Like you have Windows 3 menus in the game.
We did. When I came to Microprose in the first place, when I started working at Microprose in 1992, I was hired specifically to manage games that would run under Windows. And one of the interesting things back then was that Microsoft was very, very, very successful with their first Windows game packs with games that were incredibly simple, incredibly cheap, incredibly unsophisticated. And all of us who were sophisticated game designers going, why are people buying these simple, stupid games? And the answer was, well, because they're on Windows and people are using Windows now and they're abandoning DOS, and there's a market there to be had. So one of the first things I ended up working on when I came to Microprose was a thing called Dr. Floyd's Desktop Toys, which I don't know if it's made its way toward your neck of the woods ever, but it was a package of about 5 different pretty simple, straightforward games, and a character that popped up on your screen every once in a while with a big set of different quotes that we stole from other places.
She loves you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they were at the opposite end of the scale of complexity from the games that we were usually doing, of the complexity and the sophistication of things like Civilization and Master of Orion. But the desktop toys games were all very entry level, very, very much aimed at people who were not gamers. But it was certainly, a decision that was made in '92 that we could see the writing on the wall, and that developing games for DOS was going to have a very limited window remaining, and we would be adapting more and more to Windows.
Very involved with the interface of the game. Most games were still menu-based, like Dune 2, and Command and Conquer and Warcraft 2 just released, one earlier, one later, so they were kind of new. But this means War already uses mouse controls. It's not very conventional. You still have to use packs, but it's already mouse.
Yeah.
Instead of menu.
Yeah, we were still in the process of figuring out how to make a good mouse-based interface for those games, because we had been all, we'd worked for most of our careers on systems that used keyboards and or joysticks, and only in the early 90s were we really making that transition to assuming that most people had mice on their computers. So, but I can't take any credit for the interface design per se. I think that was mostly the Ellinger brothers and Steve Beeman that did it at the time.
Who was the lead designer on the project?
So I started out as the main designer for it and producer for it. And then we brought in a writer named Catherine Lawrence, and we had some programmers who also had some very, very good design instincts. So the farther and farther we got into the development of the game, the more and more I allowed the programmers to have some design input on how the interface worked and how some of the game mechanics worked for there. Context behind all of this is that at the time when I started This Means War, or shortly after starting This Means War, I decided that I was going to change my career and get out of the game industry. So essentially, This Means War was the last game I worked on since I started in the game industry back in 1982, and decided I was going to go back to school, go back and get a degree in human services, and get out of the game industry at the time. And part of the motivation for it was, I don't know how familiar you are with Master of Orion.
I've played a little bit of the first one. I tried the first one, but it was too complex and I didn't want to dedicate spot to learn. But Mu was pretty popular. All the game journalists were always talking about it and comparing new games to Mu. People playing it.
When it was released, it did very well here in the States. This was back in 93 when it was the first Master of Orion was released. And there was a game magazine review of it in Computer Gaming World, where the reviewer said that Master of Orion was a sure candidate for Game of the Year and would be Exhibit A in several divorce cases. And it made me kind of think about, what am I really doing for people's lives? Am I getting them so addicted to a game that it's ruining their relationships? And I really didn't feel comfortable with that as much anymore. So when I was working on This Means War, I made a decision to explore different career options and to go back to college, get a master's degree. And as the development of This Means War was going on, I started out being very, very involved on a day-to-day basis. But by about halfway through, I had handed off a lot of the responsibilities that I had to other people on the team and brought in some other folks because I was moving into a new job and a new career and completing my master's degree at the same time. So by the time we actually shipped it, I was only part-time involved in the production of it. I was going to say that was toward the end of 1995, I believe, and I started my college program at the beginning of 1995, graduated at the end of 1996. So when This Means War was going through its final testing and getting ready to ship, I was working another job full-time during the day and going to my college classes in the evening and squeezing in a little bit of time in between to check in and check how our teams were doing. But I was very grateful that I had friends like Steve Beeman and his then wife Ellen to get involved in helping manage the project as well at the time, and they kind of carried it across the finish line.
And that was just small innocent joke in 1995. And now we got internet connection, which led to mobile games, how to monetize children, how to make your whale sing, and loot box.
Yeah. I mean, it's internet addiction and gaming addiction have been discussed for decades and decades, but I think it's only gotten worse over the years since I got out of the industry. So, and right now, so to give you a little bit more background on where my career went to, I ended up getting a degree in what was called human services, and human services was focused on a mix of things like counseling and social work and nonprofit leadership. And so I was thinking about whether I was going to become a therapist, but ended up becoming a career counselor instead. So ultimately, I went through my own process of career exploration and career counseling and ended up helping other people who wanted to do a similar career change in their lives, and got to work with hundreds and hundreds of people over the last 20 or so years through that. And now I have my own little company called People Type Consulting. And I work for a nonprofit here in Austin called Foundation Communities, doing employee training in leadership and team building and a lot of professional development skills.
You also got a writer for the game, and most of the reviewers who were positive are praising the writing and whole storyline.
Right. So yeah, Catherine Lawrence came to me because of connection with. Let me think. So yeah, once upon a time, this was years and years back. I don't know if you're familiar. Oh, you said you've seen Babylon 5, right?
I loved Babylon 5. It was on TV all the time, and when I watched it, and last year I forced my cousin to watch it, and he loved it too.
So, quick story on that background. Before Babylon 5 existed, I was guest at a science fiction convention in Phoenix, Arizona, talking about interactive fiction, talking about the game industry and so on, and ran into another guest, a writer who had been working on Ghostbusters cartoons and Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. And the organizers of the convention gave out an award for, quote, guest with name most likely to be misspelled, which I tied for that award with J. Michael Straczynski. So I had to meet this guy, J. Michael Straczynski, and we hit it off. I got his card, was really impressed by the writing he had done for Ghostbusters and for Captain Power, and tried to get him to work on a game that I was proposing before This Means War, and sent him the proposal. And it was a game that never got funded, so it never got off the ground. But he said he would have loved to work on writing for it, but that a project he had just been shopping around got the funding to do a pilot movie for this thing he called Babylon 5. So he was too busy working on Babylon 5 to work on my game, sorry to say. But he did have some other writers who had he'd mentored some writers who had been kind of apprentices to him. And he said he would be glad to connect me with some of them. And Catherine was one of those apprentices to Joe Straczynski. And so I was delighted to get to connect with her and have her work on the writing for this project.
And the writer wrote the whole thing in isolation, no?
All of the character dialogue, all of the sort of storyline stuff, yeah.
So the team was working on the game and the writing was separate?
Yeah, she was doing that on contract from where she was in California. Most of the rest of the team was here in Austin, though.
So the game, I looked up, it had one pirated release and one release from Akela. Do you know anything about, did you publish through Akela officially, or it's before we became official publisher? Because they started kinda as pirates.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about them. We were just working on it for Microprose at the time. So if another
who made the deals, you're not right.
So in terms of the contract, in terms of the development, because I had worked as a Microprose employee for 2 years, and I had been on the side of negotiating contracts with independent developers. I negotiated the contract with the independent developers who worked on Master of Orion and the developing team that had worked on Ancient Art of War in the Skies, which is another. Oh, you'd seen that one?
Ancient Art of War. First one is very significant for people who are into real-time tactics, real-time
Yeah.
strategy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that goes way back.
It's very
Yeah, I'd
old.
forgotten about that one. Yes, that was in the 80s. That was, I think, Broderbund at the time. Yeah.
And Skies, it's one of the sequels.
Yeah. So they did Ancient Art of War. They did Ancient Art of War at Sea, and then the third one was In the Skies, and I got to be producer on the Ancient Art of War in the Skies, and got to work with that development team on that project. That was fun. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about that was it was one of the first games we got to do that we actually did. We actually used voice actors for. So Ancient Art of War in the Skies, we brought in several different voice actors to voice the different pilots and to do a voice for Sun Tzu. And I actually put myself in that game. So I got to be the voice of the Red Baron. If I recall correctly, my one line was, "I am the hunter and you are my prey."
I am a born hunter, and you are my prey. Can the deer defeat the wolf?
With as much menace as I could voice at the time. And I wish we had been able to do voice work for Master of Orion or This Means War to a greater degree, but it wasn't quite ready for that, and we didn't quite have the budget for that.
This means war, I think, is entirely fully voiced. List of actors. It's not video, but it's still pictures.
Right. Yes, we did do some voice snippets for that, but I wish we could have done real actors and such back then.
You mean like full motion video?
Yeah, that would have been nice, but we weren't quite to that point.
Well, there were no full motion videos
Yes.
because Command and Conquer came out like previous months before This Means War.
Yeah.
So it was new. Warcraft 2 had very tiny CGI snippets.
This was 30 years ago, and a game that I was in the process of changing careers while I was in the middle of developing it. So my memories, as I pulled out this book off my shelf, the strategy guide, and I flipped back through it and going, wow, this was an interesting game. I'd forgotten about all of this. But I wish it had been more successful. I think there were some very fun ideas in there. One of the things I really did have fun with, in particular, were creation of the opponents, the villains that you were fighting against, Napoleon and Shadowhawk, and think about who else was in there.
Gandhi.
Oh, Crocodile Gandhi. Yes. The friend of mine, the most of the people who we used for photos, and we did a big photo shoot for all of those characters, and I got most of them from a professional agency for actors and models. So most of them were professional models, and the woman who showed up to play Countess Nasty, when she showed up at the door for the photo shoot, she was so sweet and innocent and nice looking. I'm going, is this the person I requested for playing this evil femme fatale? And then she sat down with a makeup artist for 15, 20 minutes and came back out of the room. And I went, oh, you are who I wanted. And she was just perfect for that shot. But the Crocodile Gandhi was an artist that I had worked with. And he was just an old-time Austin hippie. And I could not find anybody in any of the modeling agency catalogs or any of the actors that we looked at that fit what I had in mind better than Stephen Austin, who was the model for that. So that was fun. I never talked about that with anybody before. So. Mm-hmm. And Master of Orion, when it first came out, I wish we had been able to do any kind of voice audio. I don't know if you're familiar, Wargaming, the company Wargaming that did Worlds of...
I satellited them in tents.
World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, etc. They remade Master of Orion about 6-7 years or so ago. And I got...
2016.
Was that really that long ago? Oh my God.
I'm so
Time flies. Time flies. But I got to be a consultant on that, which meant they were paying me to beta test their versions of it and give advice on how to make it feel more authentic to the original. But one of the best days of my life was when they sent me a copy of their version of Master of Orion, where they had installed the voice actors, where they had put in the dialogue. And I don't know if you know who the voice actors they used for that version of Master of Orion, but they had Mark Hamill. They had Alan Tudyk from Firefly. They had John Delancey and Michael Dorn from Star Trek The Next Generation. They had just this amazing voice cast that they used for the remake of Master of Orion. So that was wonderful to hear. I'm going, Mark Hamill's doing a voice for a game that I helped create. That's just cool. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Fusion Learning Systems?
Yeah. That was an e-learning company that I worked for many years ago.
Because one of your quotes as a part of that team is used on Wikipedia and in general on the internet about an hour game. This Means War is listed under Starjammer Studios and Illusion Machines Inc.
That was the only thing that Starjammer Studios ever did, and that was my company.
So it was the company specific for this game, and once you went away, the company is dissolved.
Yeah.
And Illusion Machines is in our sub-company.
Illusion Machines was the company that Steve Beeman and Ellen Guan ran, and they did development work for several different companies for several years. And I don't remember how many different games they completed, but yeah, they were very good friends of mine. Steve and Ellen, I worked with when I was working here in Austin for Origin Systems. So quick little background on that. I came to Austin in 1989, moved down here to be a producer working at Origin Systems alongside people like Warren Spector and Chris Roberts, who were working on the Ultima game series and the Wing Commander games back then. I don't know if you've ever played Wing Commander or Ultima games.
I had one of those books I told about, and it had full walkthrough for third game, I think. So I read it entire walkthrough, but never touched the game yet. It's in the plans.
Yeah.
There's so many games, so little time.
Yeah. No, Wing Commander back in when it shipped in 1990 was an immense success back then. I was working at Origin on a game that we took the Ultima role-playing game engine and adapted it to do different styles of story. So instead of being a general Dungeons and Dragons fantasy Lord of the Rings kind of setting, we did a Lost World of Dinosaurs and Ancient Civilizations game called Savage Empire. And I got to work with Steve Beeman. He was the lead programmer on Savage Empire. I got to work with Ellen. I hired Ellen to come down and work for Origin, and she was a writer on several of the Wing Commander games. And then after we both left Origin, I left Origin, ended up at Microprose, and they left Origin and they started up a company that they called Illusion Machines. And they worked on several projects. I don't remember which specific ones Illusion Machines produced, but I trusted them immensely as I was in the process of winding down my involvement with This Means War, that I knew they would be able to pick up where I left off and help finish everything. One other quick story. So I mentioned that when I worked at Origin Systems, we worked on Savage Empire, this game about, set in a Edgar Rice Burroughs world. The writer I got to work with on that, his name is Aaron Alston, and he was also a writer for several of the official Star Wars novels. So he's famous. He's got a lot of fans who read his Star Wars novels. Aaron and I became good friends through that process, and we're about the same height and about the same weight. And Aaron had this amazing collection of Hawaiian shirts, bright, just almost blindingly bright Hawaiian shirts. And unfortunately, Aaron passed away about a decade ago. And to this day, I really am sad that I never inherited or asked for any of the Hawaiian shirts that he had, because I would have loved to have inherited them.
You first started to work on Atari VCS with your robots.
I didn't work on the VCS. My first games were on the Atari computer, the Atari 400 and the Atari 800 computer. When I first started, and this was back when I was still in college in 1980, let me think, end of 82 was when I got my Atari 800. It had 16K of memory, and it did not have a disk drive. I got a cassette tape recorder. It shipped with it. I bought it with a cassette tape recorder. And then my first two games that got published were published by the Atari Program Exchange, which was a small division of Atari that was created to review user-written software and offer authors of the good stuff, the ones that fit their level of standards for quality. They put out a catalog and sold those programs, and the authors got a royalty from that. So my very first game was a game called Rabots, and I wrote it when I was in college. And one day, shortly after it published, I go down to my dorm room mailbox and I get an envelope, and the envelope has a check for like $300, which when I was in college, that was an immense amount of money. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be a great game designer. And that kind of shaped the direction that I went in after graduating from college. When I was interviewing for jobs, I interviewed at Hewlett-Packard one day, big giant corporation, sea of cubicles. And the very next day, I went up and talked to the vice president of Broderbund Software, who had a bunch of Muppets and Star Wars toys in his office. And I said, that's the business I want to work in.
So you never worked on VCS directly?
Not the VCS. It was the Atari 800. Yeah.
VCS is just very weird, and talking to someone who knows how it works would be interesting.
I did work with one programmer who had worked on the VCS, and the difficulty and challenges of a video game console that had that little tiny bit of memory that it did, and the very primitive capabilities that it did were just immensely challenging.
I'll link down your podcasts in the description, which cover your early days. Those guys ask you about Atari and about your producing work.
I was going to say, you said you'd found most of the podcasts that featured me in there, but there was a...
It was free, I think. Two videos big, I will link it.
There was one video that I don't know if I made you aware of. There is in Austin an event that goes on called Nerd Night. And Nerd Night is kind of like a TED Talk thing. And I spoke at Nerd Night a few years back about the evolution of games in the 1980s. And got to really trace the games I worked on throughout the 1980s and into up to 1990, and I think I ended with Wing Commander. So probably doesn't give you anything more to go on to this interview, but if you want to just pick up on some weird, interesting stuff about the game industry in the 80s, I'll send you that video, that talk.
I watched your over interviews, and everyone glanced over.
Yes.
This means what?
They got very thorough with some of those interviews. I was really impressed with one of the interviewers who was fascinated by G.I. Joe. And by the way, I point out, now this is on the video, I'll show. The G.I. Joe game I made for the Commodore 64 had, you see all this on my shirt, there you go. So, had all of these characters on the G.I. Joe selection screen. And I was perusing a website that printed retro T-shirts for people who were nostalgic for their childhood, and saw that they had taken the characters out of the game that I worked on back in 1980. I think came out in 84 back then. And I realized, okay, I am now officially a piece of nostalgia. I'm now officially a piece of people's childhood memories. A good friend of mine, when I met him, he was a clerk in a comic book shop, and he said, "Oh yeah, I used to play your Commodore 64 GI Joe game when I was in kindergarten." And I went, "Thank you for making me feel old." So, I think probably it's hard to figure out what I haven't talked about. Some of these things, but I'm still to this day an avid board gamer, tabletop gamer. I'll say one of the things that I didn't get to talk much about in any of the other interviews that I did was after I kind of got out of the computer game side of things, and I moved back down to Austin. There's a tabletop board game company here in Austin called Steve Jackson Games. And Steve Jackson is famous for a series of card games called Munchkin and Illuminati card game and the generic universal role-playing system. And so over here in the States, anybody who plays a lot of board games is very familiar with Steve Jackson Games. And I got a chance to be one of their official playtesters and design advisors. And when the games came out and were published from his company, tabletop, not computer games, not video games, just tabletop paper and pencil and dice games, something really felt fun about being credited in an old school board game after doing over 24 computer games. So I still appreciate the fun of sitting around a tabletop with a bunch of friends and squashing them in person.
So thank you very much for your time.
It was a pleasure for me, and I appreciate you tracking me down.
There's one page on French Wikipedia and nothing much else. We created some records, some new information of the history about the game, which
record the history.
Yes.
No, it is one of the least successful games I worked on. I'm delighted when anybody still mentions it, that there is still some memory of it out there. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, goodbye.
Talk to you later.
You will fall before my jihad, as will the world.